And a very happy Thursday to you at 12:06 in the afternoon. It's the John Phillips Show. Mr. Randy Wangs in Culver City.
John, I feel like even though Henry Lee is a Bay Area reporter, I need him in Southern California because now
it's happened yet again.
Yet another Rolex was stolen in the San Fernando Valley.
No one in Southern California is going to be able to tell time.
It's happened yet again.
We're all going to be frumpy and late.
It's happened yet again.
Is the market for Rolexes that hot right now where people are willing to rip your arm off for one of those things?
Well, if they're made of gold, apparently the market for gold is white hot right now, including stolen gold.
Okay, so they steal the watch and then they just melt it down?
Or they sell it to somebody who then melts it down, but yes, this is why the experts say all the jewelry stores are getting hit nonstop.
Well, Mr. T better watch his back. He's still with us, correct?
Yes. As far as I know, Mr. T is still with us. Hopefully you didn't just curse him.
Well, I say that because I think his daughter is doing stand-up comedy. And I saw the daughter appearing at a club. And I want to say she referred to her dad in the past tense.
Mr. T is alive. He is 73 years old.
All right. So maybe she was just referring to him regarding his days on the A-team.
Oh, wow. Stallone's almost 80.
Mr. T was in WrestleMania 1. 800-222-5222 is telephone number 1-800-222-5222. Well, we know that ever since the BLM riots, there is a push to take jobs away from police officers, people who have extensive training on how to deal with difficult situations, and give those jobs to people like, social workers and safety ambassadors. So I figured, Randy, why don't we go ahead and check in and see how that's going?
Well, we know in the past how well Urban Alchemy has been working to keep the streets of San Francisco clean. Here's former Mayor London Breed.
People have been stabbed in Urban Alchemy. They've been shot. They've been attacked. And they still show up every single day as an alternative to policing for this community.
She lost. Isn't that funny? Well, here we go. It's happened yet again. Henry Lee, I need you.
It's happened yet again.
An Urban Alchemy practitioner was murdered in San Francisco after he politely asked somebody to stop openly doing drugs in front of a library.
So what you're saying is we would have been better off if we had someone with, a badge and a gun and proper training doing that job.
For more on yet another tragedy involving unarmed crisis response, here is a report from KRON 4.
Nonprofit Urban Alchemy is mourning the loss of one of their San Francisco ambassadors who died Tuesday after being shot outside the main public library in Civic Center last week. KRON 4's Stephanie Rothman has more.
On Friday night, Joey Alexander, one of the Urban Alchemy city ambassadors, did what he's done the last 2 years: discourage criminal activity and drug use in San Francisco's roughest areas. Urban Alchemy spokesperson Jess Montejano says the 60-year-old ex-incarcerated Oakland resident asked a man to stop using drugs outside the main doors of the San Francisco Public Library.
How dare he?
And just think about it, Randy. That's what the kids had to walk through on their way to Drag Queen Story Hour.
Public Library in Civic Center.
Because there's women and children around, and he didn't want that, to be seen, just like all of our practitioners do.
The difference is that when a law enforcement officer theoretically goes up to somebody who's openly smoking meth in front of a library, you would think that they would either knock it off or, in an ideal world, that person would immediately be taken out of society.
That's right. If a cop sees that happening, you go to jail. If you hire a safety ambassador because they're just like the people smoking meth, they've been in jail, they've had troubles with the law, they can relate to them and speak to them as a peer, Well, guess what they do to their peers? They shoot them.
One thing that the criminals know about the unarmed ambassadors is the unarmed part. And this guy just happened to have a shotgun.
The suspect didn't like that. They exchanged, some words to me, pulled a shotgun out of his bag and shot him in the torso area.
According to San Francisco police, 42-year-old Edmund Bowen was arrested after the shooting. Alexander was taken to the hospital where he died on Tuesday. The district attorney's office plans to upgrade Bowen's charges to murder.
There's definitely some fear, amongst urban alchemy practitioners right now. It's very easy to...
Practitioner makes it sound like they're doctors.
Yeah. This is what you have to do when you have people out there that are lambs being led to slaughter. They don't have the training. They don't have the tools. They don't have the ability to shut down criminality.
It's time to just admit what this program is. It's just a jobs program for the unemployable. It's mostly ex-homeless and ex-cons who have no other skills. And for some reason, instead of finding some path for them to be able to have a career in life, we've given them jobs where they're quote-unquote security without any backup. And this is the kind of thing that happens over and over again.
It's actually quite cruel to these people to put them in this situation. This would be like saying, all right, you're going to be an airline pilot. Well, I don't have a pilot's license. Well, I'm sure you'll be able to figure it out.
I know we're having staffing shortages in every policing agency in the state of California, but the answer cannot be, let's replace the job of police who have to deal with dangerous people, and they deal with dangerous people with weapons and backup and a badge, and replacing that with ex-cons who have lived experience.
Well, what this is it's a war on distinction. You've heard about the war on Christmas, the war on drugs. This is a war of distinction, where we used to look at medical doctors as the people who understood medicine and they understood health. And then we said, oh, no, we can't do that because it excludes too many people. So let's have public health officials, where you have complete buffoons like Barbara Ferrer who have degrees in subjects that aren't even closely related to medicine. And we call them doctors, and we put them in charge of the doctors because that makes us feel good about ourselves.
Yeah.
And then she wears the white lab coat.
And goes by doctor as she's giving medical and health advice. Cops have training. Part of the reason that it takes so long to replace them is because when you send them to the academy, they're there a long time. We let the cookies bake in the oven. And we do that for a reason. Because when there's a dangerous situation that prevents itself, you want someone with every possible tool in the toolbox to be able to handle it. If you put some random ex-con out there, it's going to go sideways more often than not.
Well, and this is one of the rare situations where we've seen where it's an urban alchemy ambassador that's trying to get somebody to stop doing drugs. Because what have we reported on in the past, thanks to some of the Bay Area stations? What usually is going on is these ambassadors are walking around and doing check-ins. And doing check-ins can count as passing out cigarettes for $8. That's how much we charge. That's how much Urban Alchemy charges the city of San Francisco every time there's a positive contact, which includes passing out a loose cigarette.
Yeah, this is all a waste of time. It's a waste of money. It's dangerous. We shouldn't be doing this to these people. We shouldn't be doing this to the taxpayers of San Francisco. You don't need safety ambassadors. You need more police officers.
Well, and you need to have the authority, and we've seen some of this in certain parts of San Francisco. When Daniel Lurie wants to do sweeps, it's great, and when they want to clear out a park, it's great. But why is anybody allowed to openly do drugs on the street? I don't care about Prop 47. It's still a crime.
Well, and I would love to see what this guy's record is, because my guess is he belongs in prison anyway. And I bet you he's got a rap sheet that's longer than a CVS receipt. And I bet you his brains are scrambled like eggs that you'd order at the IHOP.
There's definitely some fear, amongst urban alchemy practitioners right now. It's very easy to see themselves in Mr. Alexander. It's a tight-knit team.
700 San Francisco Urban Alchemy ambassadors have experienced.
Okay, how much are we paying for that?
Wouldn't you like to know?
700 San Francisco Urban Alchemy ambassadors have experienced homelessness, drug use, or been incarcerated themselves.
It is a jobs program for the unemployable. And the whole theory here, because Karen Bass explained this when she presented her budget to Black Lives Matter before she presented it to the city, is that she needs to have these kinds of ambassadors or crisis intervention workers or violence interrupters, because if we don't pay them high salaries to do nothing, they'll go back to a life of crime.
You know what I think? I think all of these people belong in prison. If you have to pay someone to not go out and shoot people or sell drugs, then that person belongs in jail. And if you're doing drugs in front of a library, you belong in jail too.
Now they're grieving, holding a memorial outside the library, and later moved the tribute to the Oasis, the main hub for workers in the Tenderloin district.
That was his beat in front of the main library, something that he showed up to work every day when it was his shift. And they all have shared experience. And that shared experience and the trauma and crisis that they went through individually creates, again, this collective superpower.
No, it doesn't.
What planet are these people living on?
Well, they're living in a nonprofit that has made millions and millions and millions of dollars over the last 5 years in several major cities. Urban Alchemy is all over the place now. And they got their start in the Bay Area and in Portland, and so many cities have adopted these things. Culver City, where I'm broadcasting from right now, has contracts with Urban Alchemy. There are all kinds of these jobs programs for the unemployable that don't do anything and actually put these people in harm's way.
I love the fact that they're having a quote-unquote celebration of life for this guy at the Urban Alchemy offices. And then they're going to turn around and tell these people to go right back on the streets handing out cigarettes to the bums doing drugs to make sure that those government contracts keep rolling in. I hope they tell the guy with the shovel to keep digging.
That gives them the motivation and the pride, to give back.
Mayor,
this whole concept of we need people with lived experience to talk to the drug addicts is nonsense. Enough with this is all harm reduction insanity.
You know who else does that? All those phony baloney universities. You don't have enough college credits to graduate? Well, we'll give you credits for quote-unquote life experience. It's only scam operations that do that.
Mayor Lurie also mourned Alexander's death, saying on X in part, quote, "Our ambassadors dedicate their lives to the work of helping those on the street. Joey Alexander gave his life for it. Alexander leaves behind one son and two older brothers."
Shouldn't that tell Daniel Lurie, who's only been in this job for the last 9 months, that maybe, just maybe, this program doesn't make any sense?
No, because giving money to politically connected people that run this operation who aren't on the streets putting their own lives at risk, that's quote-unquote equity.
What I'm telling you, when these contracts come up for renewal, I would not be surprised if the people who are negotiating the contracts from the Urban Alchemy side are the ones telling mayors up and down the state of California and throughout the rest of the country, if you don't renew these contracts, these people are going back to crime.
Well, now I know why they call them ambassadors.
Why is that?
Because they face the same threat as the ambassador to Libya. I wonder if they have any safety ambassadors in Benghazi. Maybe they can open up another branch. 800-222-5222 is your telephone number. 1-800-222-5222. If you'd like to email the show, you can do so at johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. That's johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. And if you would like to listen to the podcast edition of this program, I know many of you are going on vacation. The last part of, well, I guess we're now officially out of summer. We're into fall, but the weather's still good all around certain parts of the globe. If you want to listen to us when you're sitting on the airplane or you're sitting on the beach, Randy, that's easy to do.
All you got to do is search for The John Phillips Show wherever you get your podcast, whether it's the Apple Podcasts app, iHeart, Spotify. Search for The John Phillips Show. Hit subscribe. You could download all the episodes. You could do a Google on the YouTube. Get the KABC app. Get the KSFO app. Get the KMJ Now app, because we're on that station Saturdays at 2. And you, too, can relive all of the over and over and over jewelry store robberies happening in the Bay.
It's happened yet again.
And what do you say we make a couple of listeners very happy?
Let's do that right now. 790 KABC welcomes Some Like It Hot at the Segerstrom Hall in Orange County. It's October 7th through the 19th. Tickets on sale now at scfta.org. But right now, caller number 9 at 1-888-790-5222 gets a pair of tickets to the show on October 8th. Tickets furnished by the Segerstrom Center for the Arts in beautiful Costa Mesa. Good luck dialing.
Let's go to John in Long Beach. John, hello.
Gentlemen, good afternoon. Maybe that Urban Alchemy, maybe that's where Jimmy Mac works.
That's very possible.
If not, you should put in a good word for him. He can rob all the people of their drugs and money and tell them he's helping them out.
Well, Jimmy Mack might be going away for a while, so maybe that's a career he can think about when he gets out.
Exactly. All right. Have a great day, guys.
All right. Thank you. You too. Let's go to Jonathan in West L.A. Jonathan, hello.
Hey, John, thanks for taking my call. I just think that we should lock up the elected officials for allowing this to go on in the streets. And I've coined it it's a Congress for prison. The way they used to say Hillary for prison, I changed it to Congress for prison. And that's what I think should happen. That's where the arrest should take place. But always love your show, listening all the time. You're the greatest voice around, man. Thanks.
Well, thank you so much for the call, sir. I appreciate the kind words. Let's go to Ray in L.A. Ray, hello.
Hi there, John. First, I'd like to compliment your show. I think it's more than entertainment, and I think you're really a help to the community. But my comment on the issue, most of these shooters seem to be mental patients. The Charlie Kirk, the school shootings, the attempted assassinations, and I'm wondering possibly whether they're a result of the treatment or non-treatment of these mental patients. And another thing, legally, a psychiatrist is responsible for the behavior of their patients, and they can be sued in court for this kind of thing.
Well, you're exactly right. Many of these people belong in institutions. Unfortunately, we don't put them in there anymore, but we should. There was a video that went viral at a concert at the Rose Bowl where a woman, well, if Chris Tucker from the movie Friday was here, he'd describe it in a way that I can't, but she got knocked out.
Literally knocked unconscious and then beaten up because she allegedly spilled her drink on this guy who got all kind of mad.
My guess is alcohol was involved in his response.
Wait, the wildest thing about this is, we've heard of rowdy behavior at concerts, but when I found out who the concert was, this was for Rufus Du Sol, which is like a low-energy trance group. I thought all those people that go to those shows are high on ecstasy.
Yeah, what happened to that?
Well, she's lawyering up now. Let's find out what's going on here. Here's a report from NBC4 in Los Angeles.
Well, 2 people are now suing the Rose Bowl after they say they were attacked at a Rufus Du Sol concert in August. Video of a man that appears to show him punching people in the crowd went viral soon after that show. He is also being...
Okay, I know exactly what happened here. Problem is, when you like to do ecstasy, is you don't necessarily know where the pills came from, and occasionally, and this is true, your Molly might be spiked with a little meth.
So you think the puncher was on meth?
Whether intentionally or unintentionally, yes.
Does meth make you act like Chris Benoit?
Yes.
He is also being sued. Tonight, NBC4's Robert Kovacic spoke with one of the plaintiffs who says she was attacked. Robert.
That's right, Carolyn. She spoke with us tonight from her home in Phoenix, recounting the weekend they came to L.A. and the concert she and her fiancé and a friend just couldn't wait to see. Tickets purchased a year.
Okay, if you're going across state lines, it's because you're going to a rave.
That's what you think it was, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Tickets purchased a year in advance. However, she says she remembers little of that night because she claims she was knocked unconscious at the Rose Bowl.
You know, you don't ever expect to go to see your favorite band and get the crap beat out of you.
Shelby Lynn Elston says she was beaten and injured during the Rufus Du Sol concert at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena on August 16th. And she says this is the man responsible, seen in this video gone viral. Shelby claims it all began when her fiancé, Kane Webb, accidentally knocked his drink over with his foot.
Wait a second. She's not even the one that spilled the drink?
Now, I was hesitant to even bring this up because of, the circumstances. But one of the first questions that always pops into my head when I hear that someone got assaulted was, did they have it coming? I told you that story that Willie Brown told at Carla Marinucci's retirement party, didn't I?
Why don't you remind us?
Okay, so way back when Willie was mayor of San Francisco, Latrell Sprewell was the star basketball player for the Golden State Warriors, who at the time played in Oakland, back when professional sports was played there. And Latrell was known for having a bit of a temper. And one day at practice, Latrell Sprewell got mad at the coach, a guy by the name of P.J. Carlissimo, who had a beard. And after Latrell Sprewell got mad at him, he choked him out at the practice in front of all the other players. Well, there was nothing going on at San Francisco City Hall that day. Willie would just walk the hallways. He was very accessible to the press. So Carla asks him, "Hey, Mr. Mayor, what do you think about Latrell Sprewell choking out P.J. Carlissimo?" And he said, "Well, did he have it coming?" So then Carla prints that in the paper. Well, it was a slow news cycle all over. So after that went to print, suddenly it was the lead story on ESPN and everywhere else. So suddenly Willie Brown was caught up in this big scandal, and he goes to work the next day and he hunts Carla down. And he finds her in one of the hallways and he said, "Why in the world did you print that?" And she said, "Because you said it." And he said, "No, I didn't." And she said, "Yes, you did." And he said, "No, I didn't." And she said, "Yes, you did." And then she said, "And if you'd like, I can pull out the tape and play it back for you." And he stared her down for a little bit and he said, "Well, I didn't effing mean it."
That's great.
Onto the back of the man, sitting in the bleachers in front of them.
We immediately just start apologizing, and he turns around and he just starts screaming at us that we did it on purpose, and he saw us.
Maybe the Molly didn't kick in yet.
Or maybe he's just a rageaholic.
Well, it is.
That we did it on purpose, and he saw us throw a drink at him, and we were like, that is not what happened at all. We are so sorry. It was an accident. And this man just storms off.
He returned a half hour later.
And he gets in Kane's face and just starts screaming at him again. I saw you do it. If you do anything like that ever again, I'm going to kill you. And I was just like, whoa.
Okay, so what percent of the blame lies on her shoulders?
Like, this has gone way too far. We have already apologized to you. There is nothing left to be said. And things get really fuzzy after that. I woke up in the medical tent.
Shelby says the Rose Bowl up.
So she was like, "Enough. We've already been through this." And then he punches her in the face.
And then she wakes up with a nurse going, "More morphine?"
Shelby says the Rose Bowl operating company must take some responsibility. The couple's complaint says the venue negligently managed, administered, and provided security services at the Rose Bowl.
They're not looking in the right areas. They're not intervening to the point where, a brutal assault can take place for, around 10 minutes and nobody's coming to your aid.
I mean, obviously they can't control what a concert goer is going to do. You can't control the public, but you.
And for the most part, they look the other way if you're bringing certain things into the concert.
Okay, I've seen enough to have an opinion on this. I'd give her no money.
What did she do?
0 money. You get nothing. Here's why. Why is it that the Rose Bowl is at fault because she got punched? They didn't do anything. Obviously, that's against the rules at the Rose Bowl. You're at the Rose Bowl, you're not supposed to punch anyone. It's probably on the back of your ticket. So I don't know what they did to deserve a lawsuit. They shouldn't have to lay off Stephanie Edwards or Jeff Edwards. Or who is it? Bob Eubanks.
Can she still sue the puncher?
Yeah, she could sue him, but she should also tell her husband not to be so damn clumsy. You ever had a completely full glass of beer dumped on you? I'm not saying they had it coming, but I'm just saying if you're a rageaholic to begin with and suddenly you become a wet rageaholic and you're probably, I don't know how many drinks into the evening and I don't know what kind of drugs you've taken in, but now you smell like a bar and you're walking out to the parking lot through a bunch of police officers, they're going to be paying attention to you. So this guy had 1,000,001 reasons to be mad. She gets nothing.
We here at the John Phillips Show don't want to make excuses for violence.
You can't control the public, but you can have security there. There's no reason that he should have walked out of that venue like he did.
What they needed was some ambassadors.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, aren't there any ex-cons that could have kept the peace over there?
Like he did.
Julio Cesar Lopez Zavala was arrested soon after the concert.
He was so bad he had 4 names.
Yeah, you know what I think his problem is? He doesn't have enough names.
Like he did.
Julio Cesar Lopez Zavala was arrested soon after the concert. According to the Pasadena Police Department, Zavala assaulted 3 people after he became agitated when a drink was spilled. Zavala pled not guilty in court to the charges against him. The 23-year-old was ordered to wear an ankle monitor and released on his own recognizance.
Of course he was. Because even punching someone out at a concert isn't a violent crime.
What do you think he is, a surgeon or a pediatrician?
According to our previous reporting, the couple is also suing Zavala for battery.
That somebody could do something like that.
I don't think you're going to get much out of the 23-year-old.
No, but that lawsuit deserves to be successful. He beat her up. If she sues him, she should win. Not the Rose Bowl, though.
Well, and I got to imagine when you buy tickets to any kind of concert at a large venue, there's all kinds of liabilities that you're waiving to go in there.
Yeah. Here is the moral of the story. Don't go to any venue where you know everyone's on drugs.
It's like entire genres of music. Who do you think goes to Coachella sober?
No. Listen, I only go to events where I think that I'm going to be safe. That's why I go to Angel Games, because the only people on drugs are in the clubhouse.
After such a minuscule incident. So, I'm just still trying to process everything that happened that night because it was just so beyond ridiculous.
Now, the Rose Bowl operating company is independently run, though the property is owned by the city of Pasadena. We reached out to the Rose Bowl operating company and did not receive a response. The city of Pasadena telling NBC4 they cannot comment on pending litigation at this time. We also reached out to the attorney for Zavala, and he says that his client maintains his innocence and is investigating the incident further. And regarding...
It's on tape.
Yeah, I don't think this is a big mystery here.
The civil complaint now filed. Zavala's attorney says he was only recently made aware of it and did not have a comment. I'm Robert Kovacic. Carolyn?
All right. So there's the latest on the lawsuit filed over the woman that got beat up at the Rose Bowl during a Rufus Du Sol concert.
Okay, here's my advice. If this lady tells her old man that she wants to go see a concert, next time make sure it's the soft hits of the 70s. You're less likely to get beat up there. I'm not saying it won't happen. I'm just saying you're less likely to get beat up. Because let me tell you, if you dump a beer on someone at a live taping, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, you might get beat up there too. So I don't know what kind of gunboats this guy has, but watch where you're stepping. 800-222-5222 is the telephone number. 1-800-222-5222. Let's go to Sam in L.A. Sam, hello.
Hey, what's going on, John?
Hey there.
Hey, look, I want to ask you something, John. Now, I know you joke around, kid around, you pretty quick-witted and all that, and all that's fine. That's cool. That's why I listen to you every day. But are you serious about you wouldn't give this woman a dime? Now, let me ask you something. I heard two different versions of this story. When I first heard it in August, a little over a month ago, they said that her boyfriend had, I guess, came back from getting the beer, and he accidentally spilled some of the beer on the guy. And then he took it out. The guy beat up his girlfriend. Now, when you and Randy just said it, now he said that he kicked the beer over. Now, which one is the correct story?
Well, I think no. What the report we just played said is that the boyfriend spilled the beer on this guy that was in the row in front of them, and that's where he got all mad, and then he went to the bathroom and stewed for a while, and then came back, and they say he just started screaming until she tried to be like, cut it out, and then she says she blacked out after that, after he punched her.
Right. So did he kick the beer over, or did he spill the beer on him? Well, apparently if he was in back of him, he had to spill the beer over on him, right?
Yeah, I think he spilled the beer on the guy. That part's not being debated.
Okay. Now, I want to ask John. Okay, John said he talking about he wouldn't give her a dime. You remember the story, and I know he remembers, 2 years ago at Dodger Stadium when the guy got the crap beat out of him at the Dodgers and Giants game at Chavez Ravine.
Brian Stowe.
And this guy, this is Randy, I guess this is Randy I'm calling to. Randy, this guy is still, to this day, not 100%. So how is John going to say he wouldn't give her a dime? Is he really that insensitive? Come on, John.
Now, wait a minute. I didn't say that she didn't deserve a dime from a lawsuit. She deserves plenty from him. She could sue the guy that punched her for whatever it is that she wants. And if I were on that jury, I'd vote with her. But what did the Rose Bowl have to do with this? The Rose Bowl just hosted a concert.
Okay. Well, here's the thing, John. I don't know if you saw the news last night. I don't know if it's true or not. They brought that up, and she said that security, he got beat up for like 10 minutes, John. 10 minutes, not seconds. She said that none of the security came to her aid. Nobody done anything. So that means fans or whatever, which they're not really, have to.
Well, wait a minute. If nobody did anything, that means that includes her husband too, right?
Fiance.
Well, fiance, okay.
Current or former?
Okay, he didn't help her either, right?
I wonder what happened, because if the guy turned around and said, "Who spilled the beer on me?" were they just both pointing at each other?
Well,
maybe he took out some glasses and he said, he put the glasses on. He said, "You wouldn't hit a man in glasses, would you?" And so then the guy turns around and starts wailing on her.
Well, didn't he leave and come back, John? Didn't the guy that did the beating up, didn't he leave and come back and start just beating her up?
Yeah, no, he deliberated for a while, and then he came back and went nuts on her.
Okay. Now, what about the guy at Dodger Stadium on that one? Do you think he deserved that money? Remember when he got beat up, almost 10 years ago at Dodger Stadium? I know you remember the case because you're a big baseball fan. You know, at the Dodgers Giants, he sued the Dodgers, and he got money, and he still requires care. Now, what do you think about that one, John?
Yeah, I would have given him no money from the Dodgers. I would have given him all the money in the world from the people who kicked him in the head, but no money from the Dodgers.
Okay, John. Well, I don't know. You're kind of tough on these lawsuits. Just like when you said that, made me think about over there at the Starbucks on Jefferson and Western, where the guy got the $50 million for the hot coffee spilling in his lap. So, is there any particular reason why you're against that, John? Things like that. Why you think?
How about this? How about this as a compromise? I don't think the Dodgers owe the guy any money, but I'd be willing to give him money from the Raiders because they got all the thugs interested in sports.
Okay, John. All right, John. Okay. Have a good day. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for the call. Let's go to Johnny in Lakewood. Johnny, hello. Johnny, are you there, sir? Going once, going twice. No, Johnny. Yeah, this is what happens whenever something like this occurs. You go to an attorney, and the attorney says, don't fool around with the guy with 14 names. Because what they do is they do a background search on him. And they say, okay, this guy attacked a woman at a concert, and he's named after every single person who was on the boat with Cortez. He's 23 years old and has nothing. We can win a lawsuit against him, but you're going to get nothing out of it. You can't get blood out of a turnip. So let's sue the Rose Bowl because they have an insurance policy and they're sitting on a pile of money. And so what they do is they try to find ways to blame the Rose Bowl. Well, there wasn't enough lighting. Well, there weren't enough cameras. Well, they didn't have enough security guards who were there. They didn't have enough ushers who were there who could yell at him to stop hitting her. And you try to find these loose ways to tie them to it, when in reality, they're just a venue that hosted a concert. And these venues are all the same. You have the ticket, you go through the security, they make sure you have no weapons on you. They did their due diligence. They made this guy go through security. But if he's a psycho and uses his fists against someone that he's mad at, why is that the Rose Bowl's fault? That could have just as easily happened at the mall, the grocery store, on a public freeway, wherever. Nuts are nuts, and that's the way they act.